Inside the Den, proudly brought to you by Walsh & Whitelock, leading inner-city real estate agents since 1889. Give them a call on 9384 1400.
Back-to-back wins for the first time in 2016 and a return to Zebby's Reserve this week. All exciting stuff here happening. Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Den. My name's Joshua Dawe, your host as always, and looking forward to another cracking show off the back of a great win away at East Burwood for our seniors. Of course, we thank our sponsor Walsh & Whitelock for delivering Inside the Den another great week. We're going to get straight into the scores from the weekend because it was a great result for our senior team who took home the 4 points with a whopping 80-point victory away from home against the Rams. Final score at East Burwood Reserve was 19-18-32 to 6-16-52. And a big first quarter set the tone for the Lions, 7-1 in that first term, blowing away East Burwood, and some really big plays, early stages from some of the best players on the day. Jason Tendler, man of the match, and he was fantastic. Really good influence off half-back, slotting in with a couple of goals himself as well. Jackie Martin as well, down back, was absolutely superb, works hard all day, and for a bloke who doesn't have quite the size of some of the other big key defenders, he was fantastic. All over his opponent, could not shake him off the entirety of the match, as was Coggy on his 30th birthday, playing a fantastic role on the dangerous Jaden Dooman, who has been kicking some goals for East Burwood early days. So a really good win there, Dogger with 5 goals, Hammer 3 and Mika 2, and it was a really big finish for the boys. Challenged at half-time to put the Rams away, and they did exactly that. It was a fantastic victory. The reserves, unfortunately, were brought crashing back down to earth after last week's win with a really disappointing performance. It was a really topsy-turvy sort of game. East Burwood coming out of the blocks early with 3 goals to none, but a good response from our guys led by Alex Caldwell. 3 goals for the game. And they tied the scenes at half-time, and then once again a scoreless quarter in the third term, which is never good. Spelt danger signs, and East Burwood held on there for a close 22-point victory. 9-11-65 to 7-5-47. James Curdy chipping in with 2 goals. Tommy Black really solid down back with the experience of Ryan Gordon. And Lockie Greswell, who got picked in the emergencies for the seniors, was not far away from playing, rewarded for his good work so far this year. He also had a really good game, so not so far away, but disappointing scenes for the reserves. They'll be pretty upset, as will senior coach Erwin Anadoli with the back of a performance that was pretty impressive against Mulgrave. It'll be a tough test against Mitcham, of course, who were reserves premiers as well as senior premiers last year. So really 2 tough games that we're going to be heading into, but nonetheless, off the back of the seniors, they'll certainly take a lot of confidence in them. Thanks to Lowther Builders, though, the best in the business when it comes to residential and commercially architecture design projects. Their number 8833 0300, and thanks to them for providing us with the scorecard. A man of the match performance from one of our superstar recruits gets him a well-deserved interview. That's right, I spoke to Jason Tendler just before about his form and how he's finding his feet at the Doncaster East Football Club.
So the last 2 years I've been on Frankston Dolphins VFL list, but didn't have much success there in getting senior games, let alone development games. So I was playing with Seaford in the MPNFL. Yeah, I mean, I thought straight away that I'd fit in quite well. After the first session, it was a lot of fun, good relaxed atmosphere, and that's the whole point of coming back to this level of footy, is just to enjoy my footy a bit more, less pressure. And now that we're getting wins on the board and I'm settling into a bit more of a role, yeah, I'm pretty happy and the boys are around me. I think that was East Burwood were the weakest opponent we've played so far, but it was the first time we've strung 4 quarters together. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or if we're starting to put our best foot forward and start to build on, you know, a few quarters here and there in other games. But if we can take that into the weekend this weekend, then I don't think even if it's a stronger opponent, they can beat our best foot. I'll put those 2 together and say playing off half back so I can set up the play, but get forward and kick a goal. Yeah, the only thing I've heard about them so far is basically from Bucks and a few of the boys, which is they love to hang on to the footy, and when they've got the footy, they're good. So the last couple of weeks we've built on contested footy, and if we can win the footy, hard footy, Mika's been great at that coming back the last couple of weeks. If we win it at the coalface, then we're going to send the ball forward, and we've got some good forwards, and we can also set up. So I think it starts in the middle, clearances with Padge, a few of the boys getting down and dirty, and that way on this deck, which is pretty small. If the ball's in our forward line for more time than they've got the footy, that's a win for us. I think the obvious one to say is Rami, but I think that's because he's the most unique character I've ever met, and the boys just egg him on, and he'll never change. To be honest, I think there's a really good culture here, and it's got a good mix of a lot of young blokes who are good mates, and old blokes that are bringing those young blokes up. So stick together. I look to be at this club for hopefully a few more years to come, and look at some success this year.
Time for the Porter Davis Homes team reveal, and there is a piece of history taking part at Zebby's Reserve on Saturday as we take on Mitcham Football Club for the first time in our club's history. A momentous occasion. Mitcham, of course, coming up from Division 3 after winning the premiership last season, both their seniors and reserves. So we're expecting two strong sides to take on our boys at home at the Den, and there are 4 changes to the senior lineup that will take on the Tigers. Into the team for his first game of senior football at this football club, Lachlan Greswell making his debut. Congratulations to Gres, was emergency last weekend, a well-deserved spot in the team for him. Timmy Robinson as well from the reserves, his first game in the seniors this year. Returning to the club this year after a year full of injuries, but great to have him back, and he'll be back in the lineup, chopping out big pads in the ruck. Jazz Lowther returns from injury, and Peter Sousby promoted from the reserves. So they're the 4 ins. Out go Jake Clark, Daniel Doran, Evan Scantleton and James Locke. So 4 big changes coming in for the boys, and of course we know how strong Mitcham side are. Very dangerous offensively with the big man Steve Pym down forward and the Hogle brothers. So few concerns, but the boys played super defensively last weekend, so we'll be up for the challenge, of course, at home on the Den deck. Exciting times for the reserves. Jake Clark returns, of course, coming from the seniors. And a new boy, Josh Betters, as well into the team. So great to have some fresh faces in the side, and look, very disappointing performance last weekend, but they'll be keen to go one better heading against Mitcham, hopefully kick-starting the day with 4 points. So some really strong teams to take on Mitcham. It's going to be a big test, we know, but of course a very special day. Our ladies' luncheon will be taking part upstairs during the day, so looking forward to having all mums, wives, friends and family upstairs to watch on. Always a fantastically well-run function. Looking forward to that one, of course. Make sure you keep following us on social media, all the platforms of Birmingham at the moment. Of course, we've been on Facebook, and we launched our Instagram and Snapchat accounts this year, so make sure you find those in the description below this video to make sure you're following, and of course all the live updates on game day on Twitter. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel for all content. Thanks for joining us once again inside the Den, and until next week, get right behind the pride of the East as we show the Tigers who's the king of the jungle.